Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm going to be testing the Porsche Carrera GT in Asphalt 8 multiplayer. Now, I won this car not too long ago in its championship, and there's a bit of an interesting story about that I'll tell you later in the video. So my rank is 1449, tuning 05005050. Interestingly, one rank lower than the CAMARO with this exact tune, and nearly as fast as the CAMARO with this tune. So I really do believe this car could be considered a modern S-Class kind of CAMARO. It reaches a high speed at a low rank, which is now important again because the standard multiplayer system has come back. Thank you all for your support on the petition. Gameloft has listened to the majority, and so I thank them very much for that as well. So aside from having high speed at a low rank like the CAMARO, it also accelerates not the greatest, better than the CAMARO. It also does not drift the greatest, but also slightly better than the CAMARO. It has very good nitro efficiency like that car. It just seems like to make the Porsche, they took the CAMARO and made the handling and acceleration a little better, and there you go. And just like the CAMARO is, or at least used to be, this car is a very good multiplayer car. I would argue that is probably one of the best, if not the best, multiplayer car at this rank. If you got this car with a fairly low tuning and want easier wins, I would recommend staying below 1500 rank, because once you go above 1500 and then above 1600 especially, it starts getting harder to win races. Now you'll probably gain more rating up there, but it depends what you want, more wins or more rating. I personally prioritize rating more, so I will be tuning this car higher and testing it again. So here we've beat an SLK Special Edition as well as an M2 Special Edition. Now for a race on Alps, which we again face, I believe, the same SLK Special Edition and maybe the same M2 Special Edition as well as an MP48. Now the M2 SE, because it starts up a little faster to me, does knock me down at the beginning of the race, and this is only a one-lap race as well. However, this car is very fast. I would say about 300 miles per hour at this rank. Here I knock this SLK down so he does not become a problem later. I take the turn tighter than the Aranera Hesera, and then now we only have the MP48 and the M2 SE to catch up to. Now the MP48 is quite a bit slower. Somehow I knocked him down when he landed on me, which is unlike my luck. Usually I get knocked down all the time when I touch anybody else, so here I fly past this M2 SE, and even on a one-lap race with a knockdown at the beginning, we can still show the power of the Carrera GT. By the way, I'm a bit congested as I'm recording this, so yeah, that's why I might sound a little different. And I'm not sick, I just sometimes get really bad pollen allergies. So here we have beat these two special edition cars again, as well as that Hesera GT and the MP48, without even a tuning kit. Yeah, going like 40 miles per hour slower than me. So now for another race on Alps, in which we are facing another Carrera GT. I believe this is Abomination J, who is a fellow member of Purple Team. Now, he has this tune with a couple on something else, maybe acceleration. I don't know exactly his tune, but it's slightly higher than mine. So I do have to say that while this car has taken a little bit getting used to driving because of the below average drifting and acceleration, I have found it quite fun to drive, and I have used it in all my ticket races so far in the current season. Now, granted, I am at 1600 to 1700 rating because I didn't play much in the previous horrible new multiplayer matchmaking season, but this could end up being a good thing, as the reward for Pro League is in fact the Peugeot SR1, which I do not have yet somehow, so that's going to work out well for me. I'm probably going to try to get up to 1900 and then stay there so I can get that car and hopefully get back to champion in the next season. So I could tell Abomination J had been driving his Porsche quite a bit because he was very good at driving it and I had not driven mine much, so I was not completely up to par on my driving of it. And while I did drive it a lot during the championship, I only upgraded it heavily when I had to. So yeah, that's only during the final tour, I believe. So we are coming up to the end of this race, and after this is when I start to face a lot more Audi R8 e-tron Special Editions, which is generally considered by people to be the #1 car around this rank, but I do believe this Carrera GT has surpassed it. So here we get beat by Abomination J and his, but we did beat the M2 Special Edition and the MP48. Okay, so in this race, we have two R8 e-tron Special Editions as well as an MP48, and thankfully none of them knocked me down at the beginning. Now, the Audi wrecks there, I'm not exactly sure on what, and then the MP425 wrecks as well. Not exactly sure what happened in those places. So since the standard multiplayer system has returned to Asphalt 8, I will be staying playing Asphalt 8 and not quitting anytime soon. You can expect plenty more videos about this game. I will be still trying to win every single new car that comes out in it, and I have kept that up since the 959, I believe, with the exception of the Twin Mill, which I completely forgot to start, and the Zenvo ST1, which I got later through boxes. What I'm going to try to do is upload at least one Asphalt 8 and on one Asphalt 9 video every week. So those of you who only like one or the other can get those videos that you like to watch, and if you play both, you can get both of them. So again, guys, don't worry, I'm not going to be quitting Asphalt 8 anytime soon. Unless they do something else horrible to multiplayer, which I really hope does not happen. So we're coming up to the end of the first lap, and as I always do, I cut out the second lap if nothing really happens during it. So here we go. End of the race, just like that. How about it? So we've beat this 1480 R8 e-tron Special Edition. Now the next race really shows the power of this car's catch-up ability, and I'll be telling you my little story about this car's championship. So in this race, we are facing two R8 e-tron Special Editions, one of which is lower than me by about 40 rank, and one of which is higher by about 30. As per usual, they get ahead at the beginning, and I try to get past this Donkavort and unfortunately knock him down. I usually try to just go past people that are slower than me, because there's no point in knocking them down. However, I will try to knock down faster cars. So now for my story about the Carrera GT's championship. I usually wait to start events until the final day so I can get data on like hard tests and best tunes and stuff like that before I mess up the car or do something dumb in one of the tests. Stuff like that, you know, just so I get information ahead of time. But there was somehow a bug where the event disappeared for participation a full day before it was supposed to. And I usually start on the last day, so I got to my computer in the morning when I was going to start it, and it was not there. So I, along with everybody else whom this happened to, because it did happen to everybody else who was going to start on the last day, emailed customer care, and the next day or the day after, I don't know which it was, we got another 24 hours or so to start it. So I did start it, and I'm very glad it got back too, because this car is really good. It's definitely one of the new multiplayer kings from this rank to, well, 1700 or so, I'd say. So we passed the second R8 e-tron Special Edition around the final turn and barely managed to beat him. He was at 1403 and we also beat a 1471. Now for a race on Sector 8 Reverse, which is probably the worst track for any car that accelerates badly and does not drift well, which is basically this car. So, I get knocked down at the beginning by an R8 e-tron Special Edition, and then have a really slow speed when going up here because I can accelerate fast, even if I didn't get knocked down at the beginning, but getting knocked down made me even slower going up, so yeah. And then I get knocked down again by the Asterion, who starts up quicker. So 2 knockdowns in the first 20 seconds of the race. However, I was determined to show that this car could come back from knockdowns, and that it could succeed on what's probably its worst track. So even though its drifting is not great, which is really the main problem of this car on this track, its speed is enough to allow it to catch up and pass to pretty much everybody in this race, except for that R8 e-tron up there, whose speed is still lower than mine, but high enough that it's not so easy to catch up to him as the other cars. So here I do something unintentionally risky going off to the side there. Thankfully, I do manage to land here. However, I would not recommend trying that in multiplayer, because oftentimes you just go off to one side or the other, and then you get put back on there and you lose some time. It's best to just go up the ramp. Oh, and by the way, there is no purple color for this car. I don't know why, but none of the cars in this update have a purple color. Even the 720S, which you can actually find in purple online, for real. So we take this turn a bit faster and a bit better than last time. However, because of the Audi R8 e-tron's better acceleration, he is able to accelerate faster out of that curve, which this car could not do as well. So even though we are catching up to him because of our superior speed, he's still quite far ahead. But I was not about to give up. I was pretty sure that I probably was not going to be able to catch him with just my superior speed because he's quite far ahead. However, if he made a mistake, that's when I could catch him. And he did. Obviously, you should not rely on your opponents making mistakes in order to win. Just know that sometimes they do, and sometimes that will allow you to pull out the victory. Of course, it also goes the other direction. If you're the one who makes a mistake, they can pull out the victory. But thankfully in the standard multiplayer system, if you have a good car, you can come back from mistakes, which you really could not do in the old system because everybody was going the same speed, and if you made a mistake, well, there's absolutely no catching up for you, unless everybody else made mistakes as well. But in the standard system, if you have a better car, you can catch up to those with not so great cars. So here we beat this 1402 R8 e-tron Special Edition, as well as an early Alfieri win, because these races were recorded a few days ago. I know a lot of people have won the car by now, but then you would probably have to spend quite a few tokens to be able to get it at that time. Now for our final race in the video, against an R8 e-tron Special Edition at a rank of 1499 and 2 Zonda Rs. Now, the R8 SE is the one directly behind me right now. However, he takes the slightly longer route at the beginning, and thus we're able to pull a bit ahead of him. And as you'll see, we're going to pull even further ahead of him because of the better speed, but he's not going to fall behind all that much. You've got to remember that when you're driving in this car, you're not like 20 miles per hour faster than the R8 SEs. You've got to be careful. So now it's time for me to give my final thoughts on this car. It is a very good car and very worth it to have gotten. If you did not get it, don't worry, there are other cars that you can use as well, but if you did get it, it was very worth it for you. Because as I said earlier, this car is probably one of the new kings of multiplayer, and you will probably see quite a few of them. And so in this final race, we managed to pull out the victory against this R8 SE. Thank you all for watching. Please like the video if you've enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt 8 and 9 content. And I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!